Captain's Log number 64. My team and I have been on the hunt for what feels like decades now. We've been given an important task. Our goal is to find something long forgotten, but we're told it may be the key to our salvation. On our search, we've stumbled upon an invaluable treasure, evil clones, and even trash monsters. But I know we're almost there. We just have to be.
Slippy, what's wrong?
Something's wrong. I don't see anything.
Slippy, open your eyes.
Aha! Thought you could hide from me, eh?
No, you just had your eyes closed.
This is horrible.
Well, maybe if you guys stopped complaining every 5 seconds, we'd find the frickin' thing.
Aim for his back.
What? No, Peppy, what is that gonna do? You know what? Screw you guys. I'm gonna play the video reminding you all what's at stake here.
Something's up ahead. Looks different.
What? Where? Oh my gosh, I think you're right. But it looks like it's some ways away though, so I'll just keep the video playing on our long trip. Let's rock and roll, team. Hey there.
This isn't Sonic.
I mean, it's kinda Sonic. There are animals in it, and they go to space. Sonic went to space at Frontiers. Remember when he pew-pewed the end? That's basically Star Fox. Star Fox is one of the very first franchises I became a fan of. I've known about the series basically as long as I can remember. My family owned 2 consoles when I was super young, a Nintendo 64 and a Nintendo GameCube, both of which helped shape my current gaming interests, with titles such as Super Mario 64, Banjo-Tooie, Ocarina of Time, Mario Sunshine, Not You, and many others. But one game always stood out in a special way compared to the rest. It had characters that felt like real people. You could even hear their voices when they spoke to you. You went on a grand adventure through the stars as badass leader of the Star Fox team, Fox McCloud, with nothing but your wits, ship, and wingmen. I'm obviously talking about Star Fox 64, and how could anyone not fall in love with this game? It's got on-rail spaceship action, which is still a genre that's only barely been touched upon in my opinion. Awesome music, great levels with memorable set pieces, and the bestest friends anyone could ever ask for.
Wait, your buddy, go away.
My bestest friends.
Star Fox 64 is still to this day considered a classic, and I absolutely loved it as a kid, and still do now. But why is it still the entry most often brought up whenever people discuss the series, though? There are far more entries that both predate it and have come out since then, with it being nearly 7 years since the most recent entry. Yes, it's actually been that long since Star Fox Zero. Literally, what the fuck? The series has been left in a state of limbo ever since. Why is that? Well, to put it simply, I think Star Fox 64 was just too perfect for the series' own good, leading to every future entry being directly compared to it harshly. And if those games didn't have certain things that 64 did, it was written off by fans and gamers regardless of quality. The next game, Star Fox Adventures, was a fairly well-made Zelda clone featuring Fox out of the cockpit, going on a lengthy adventure to save the dinosaur planet of Saria. Fans weren't ready for these changes to the formula so soon, and basically decided the game isn't worthwhile, practically forbidding Fox from ever leaving the cockpit again, ever. So after one other entry, we got Star Fox Command for the Nintendo DS, which makes me think, bad thoughts? The game is all R-Wing action, but has a horrible repetitive story structure that puts Shadow the Hedgehog to shame, among so many other issues causing Star Fox to go on ice for the next decade. In 2016, we got the most recent game in the series, Star Fox Zero for the Wii U, which is somehow even more controversial than Adventures by reusing Star Fox 64's plot, despite Zero usually being a prequel name, so what the fuck is the Zero for? As well as forced gamepad integration that many people didn't really mesh with. I'm really doing it! I actually love this game, but understand people's frustrations with it. Honestly though, I think it's exactly what fans had coming. Any Star Fox game that came out after 64 that tried something different was immediately shafted and always compared directly to that game.
But I don't like
Star Fox 64.
Then why did you ask for it?
And while I agree that games like Adventures and Command aren't necessarily the best direction for the series, though I'm sure some may disagree, there is one game I've blatantly left out. A game that actually aimed to bring the series in a bold new direction and innovate on Star Fox 64 by building on what that game introduced while also introducing new gameplay elements to freshen things up. I'm of course talking about Star Fox Guard, baby! Pew, pew, pew. Kill the robots! Pew, pew, pew.
I'm of course talking about 2005's Star Fox Assault. It's a good thing I have this copy here because, well, if I were to lose it, I'd need to stage a mission going through space trying to find a new one. Damn it.
I first played this game around the same time I got Sonic Riders, actually, back in 2006, and always enjoyed playing it much more than that game, even if I sucked just as much at it. Even on easy mode, I always got stuck on level 5. Gosh dang asteroids everywhere, my god. Why are they flying at me? Shoelaces? Why is the pig barfing on me? But I still thought it was such an epic experience, regardless of how awful at the game I was. It actually took place after earlier entries, and the events of those games informed what happens in this one. That's something I was not familiar with in video games at the time. This made me think Star Fox 64, Adventures, and Assault were basically the video game equivalent of the Star Wars trilogy or Lord of the Rings or something at the time. Granted, I was 6, the stories of these games are not that deep, but that's basically what I thought they were. At the time, I thought Star Fox's future was bright, and I couldn't wait until Fox's next galactic venture. That didn't suck ass. Little did I know I'd be waiting a long time for that, and when it did show up, well, it's not exactly how I imagined.
This was the last mainline console entry before Nintendo euthanized the series for a very long time. Did this game have something to do with that? Well, let's go on a journey through the main campaign and find out. Just gotta fill in my name here, and okay, there's only 6 letters I could fill in, so I guess I am now Jonath. Jonath.
For those of you that aren't in the know, seeing that this is pretty far in the timeline, here's a brief recap on what's happened so far. Team Star Fox are heroes for hire that played a vital role in winning the Lilat Wars against the evil maniacal scientist Andross. They were given orders by General Pepper of the Cornerian Army and performed their duty quickly and efficiently by traveling across the Lilat system and stopping any of Andross's forces along the way, including his special space fighter team, Star Wolf, who are such cheery fellows.
Daddy screamed real good before he died.
After wrapping up that monkey business, the team went without work for a few years. You'd think they'd get paid like galaxy-saving royalties for saving the Lilat system or something, right? Free groceries, weekly milk, something, anything? Fuck the Lilat system. They were nearly out of money, so they took on a job to save the planet Saria from its own civil crisis with the help of a vixen named Crystal, who Fox ended up becoming fast friends with. Something like that anyway. And recruited her to the Star Fox team, which brings us to the start of the game proper. Several years have passed since the Lilat Wars, but the Cornerian army has apparently been dealing with the final remnants of Andross's army all this time. So why wasn't the Star Fox team hired to help with that until now? I can't think of a single reason.
Fox, that's what about. Try shooting the bad guys, Fox. See if I help you again. Oh, God. Damn.
Whatever. The team shows up to help, and God, I always loved how the Gray Fox looked in this game. It still looks so cool and future-y to me. This was like the new generation of Star Fox or something in my mind, you know? We are then introduced to the new Star Fox team, which the only real difference here is that Crystal is here instead of Peppy. No longer does he shout practical advice at you while in the middle of a war while fighting alongside you. He now shouts practical advice at you from the comfort of home. #2020. The team also consists of local intelligent dumbass Slippy and local asshole Falco Lombardi. Our team is briefed on the mission, where they learn the leader of Andross's army is none other than Andrew Oikony. You know, this guy from 64.
Uncle Andros!
So you know he means business. Our heroes set off into battle, and oh my god, this music. I gotta talk about this, sorry, but the music in this game is on another level. The entire thing was done by a grand orchestra, and it fits a cinematic space adventure such as this so well. Each level and boss fight are all elevated by the music, whether it's a remix track from 64, or something completely original for this game. They're all 10 out of 10. Definitely my favorite OST in the series, and one of my favorite Nintendo soundtracks just in general. If you could take anything away from this video, please at least find the soundtrack on YouTube and give it a listen. It is so good. Alright, enough gushing, back to the battle. This is where we are introduced to the first gameplay style, which should be familiar to Star Fox fans. On-rails R-wing shooting. There's not a ton of on-rail levels in this game, only 3 in total, but what is here is all fantastic. maybe even better than any of the stages in 64. Each stage constantly throws new enemies and obstacles your way, testing both your flying and shooting abilities in ways that keep you engaged with what's happening. These stages really keep you on your toes. Sometimes you even need to help save your teammates from trouble. And by sometimes, I mean all the damn time. I swear they don't know how to just perform a somersault. God damn it, Slippy, it's only been 10 seconds! Each of the Unreal stages also has an ongoing narrative that informs what's happening in gameplay and allows for significant changes to occur in the level. For example, this first level may have you start in a space battlefield, but due to the events that happen in the story, you'll end up planet-side, which is super cool and helps keep these stages feeling fresh because they're not just the same thing the whole time. The first stage does a fantastic job teaching you everything you need to know to succeed by naturally bringing up new mechanics as you continue through an epic space battle, rather than having a separate safe tutorial section before the game actually starts. Honestly, one of my favorite tutorials in any game. Take some fucking notes. After finally catching up to Andrew, he runs away like a bitch to the nearby planet, so Fox makes chase. After burning to a crisp, we arrive on planet Fortuna, which is looking a bit different than 64. Global warming. After that existential crisis, our heroes finally catch up to Oikini, who puts on his favorite Andros costume for Halloween. Isn't that nice?
Oikini! Uncle Andros!
Oh.
Thank you, stranger.
Aperoids.
Yeah, the thing that killed Andrew is called an aperoid, which, judging by General Pepper's reaction to it...
The Lilac system is in peril.
What? How do you know?
We know.
Okay, I believe you.
They must be pretty spooky. We learn that these guys are an alien parasitic force that can take over the minds of any other organic being and even machinery, doing nothing but spread to as many beings as possible. I love the Aperoids as a villainous force so much. This is the only game in the series that doesn't straight up have Andros as the villain, or a villain that might as well just be Andros. The Aperoids are by far the largest threat the Lilac system has ever faced. Seeing our team go head-to-head with such a cool alien threat that can't be negotiated with, can't have stupid banter with, and push them to their limits is very unique and a proper evolution of raising the stakes from earlier games.
Hey boys, we just got a memo from corporate. It's looking like I need to ask you some questions to make sure you're not Aperoids, so I'll just ask you something super basic to make sure you know me. What do I think of Sonic Forces?
It's awful.
You worry about your own hide. Do a barrel roll.
Okay, they're fine.
The team receives a distress signal from planet Katina, so Fox goes to investigate on foot, where he's then ambushed by the Aperoids. This is where we are introduced to the other primary gameplay style, third-person on-foot action, the controversial gameplay, if you will. This style of gameplay involves Fox running around wide-open maps trying to destroy a set number of targets laying around the map. The order in which he destroys the targets is usually up to the player. Getting around is simple enough, as most maps are pretty flat. There isn't any real platforming or puzzle solving or anything else to deal with here. It's the enemies that will halt your progress, and there's a lot of them. Fortunately for Fox, he has a wide barrage of weapons he can use to defend himself with, including machine guns, overpowered snipers, rocket launchers, grenades, you name it. My favorite is actually his default blaster though, due to its utility and unlimited ammo. There are a few different control styles for these sections, so you can customize Fox to your liking and... wait. R1 controls? Why would you want that? The left analog for aiming and the R button moves you forward? Seriously? Is there anyone that unironically plays with the R1 controls? Please tell me, I'm very curious. This game was made in a pre-Gears of War world, so Fox controls like a tank by default, but can also strafe and even dodge roll to push of a button, both of which are exhilarating to narrowly avoid enemy fire with. In certain on-foot missions, Fox can even make use of the Landmaster, which can really get shit done by letting you run over Aperoids. Possess this, fuckers! Woo! And even blow shit up. Eat plasma, you fucking bugs! I really quite enjoy the on-foot gameplay. The controls take a bit to get used to, but once you got it down, they are a lot of fun. My only real issue with them is the lack of objective variety. Too many of these levels just consist of you tracking down and destroying these hatchers, which can, in theory, get repetitive, but the actual level design and enemy design keep the objectives feeling fresh. One thing I don't understand about these missions, however, is that when my allies are in ships flying above the battle, they could still get chased down by enemies, just like the on-rails missions, and expect me to save them. Bruh, I'm on the ground with my pistol. What do you want me to do, blind fire in the sky? I never get any air support from them in return, but whatever. Once my team politely informs me I can go in buildings.
Check inside buildings for targets too, Fox.
There has to
to be a way to get inside those buildings.
You must be able to get inside using the elevator.
And after a great boss battle involving the Landmaster against this Aperoid's magnificent mustache, Crystal senses that the Aperoid has an imperative plot device that, oops, gets stolen by the dude that killed Fox's dad. Good thing my team is all in the air and can easily shoot him out of the... Oh, god damn it. So the next few missions consist of the team trying to track down Pigma in order to get back the core memory, which contains the location of the Aperoid homeworld, I guess. This ends up being a wild goose chase that takes the team through a gangster hideout, a frozen wasteland, and even an asteroid field just to track it down. Honestly, finding and destroying another large Aperoid may have just been easier at that point, but whatever. The main story takes a bit of a break here, but in turn we get some of the best levels in the game. Sargasso's Space Hideout especially is one of my favorite video game levels ever. It's an on-foot mission where you aren't fighting Aperoids, but these goofy monkey goods that yell at you. The goal of this level is to take over the entire fortress, and I just like the implication that Fox could take over this whole hideout of thugs basically by himself. Well, I guess Slippy is also here, but is he really though? Some ground missions partner Fox up with one of his teammates, but they don't really do anything besides stand in one place and yell at you when you shoot at them. Still fun to do though. It would be cool if these guys actually followed you and helped you take out baddies like Donald and Goofy from Kingdom Hearts, but perhaps that's a bit too ambitious. The main winning condition is to take over the inside of this hideout, but you also need to properly manage the ongoing space battle outside that Falco and Crystal are participating in. If too many enemies spawn outside, then you'll lose the mission, so you need to keep that under control with your R-Wing in tandem with taking over the actual base. And I love this so much. I love games that push you to multitask with separate winning and losing conditions, especially when it's done like this. Once the space battle is properly managed and Fox has successfully taken over the base, we learn that the base is actually owned by Starwolf, and they aren't too super stoked about Fox genociding their entire army. So we get into a 3v3 dogfight to end off the level, and god, I love this fight so much. The music alone elevates it, but on Gold Mode, Starwolf themselves are also super aggressive and will even crash into you just to win. You gotta deal with not only them, but also battleships and other enemy fighters, making for one of the more intense Starwolf battles in the franchise. It really gets the blood pumping, but winning feels great. Next up is Ficino, which is a pretty short level that has some cool moments, like Fox needing to fend himself off from security bots while trapped in a small room, probably breaking a few intergalactic laws by riding on Falco's wing, and ending with a tense fight with a strict time limit against whatever the fuck this thing is in your R-Wing. The variety in activities and set pieces you find yourself doing in each mission is impeccable, and the game never slows down with it either. Next up is the asteroid field, the second on-rails level and the absolute bane of my childhood. The level starts off with us flying past Starwolf's ships, which they apparently abandoned. Alright. After getting through an army of evil shoelaces, the team finally catches up to Pigma, who has been fully converted into an Aperoid at this point. I guess holding on to the pure essence of one for so long would do that to you. The team kinda feels bad for Pigma, but this guy killed Fox's dad, so I can only imagine what was going through his mind as he was shooting the shit out of him. Alright, we finally got the core memory back. Time to take the fight back to the Aperoids. Wait, who's been keeping check on the Aperoid? Fuck! While we spent the last 3 missions chasing the bacon, the Aperoids have been waging war against the entire Lilat system, destroying the very places Fox and crew defended in the first 2 games. I think it's so cool that there are genuine consequences for the team taking so long trying to track down Pigma. The world isn't going to stop and wait for us just because we missed breakfast. And the fact that the places they target are Saria from Adventures and Corneria from 64 makes it hit even harder that we fucked up and that the Aperoids do not screw around. The Saria mission is similar to the Sargasso space station, with you needing to manage the aerial battle while destroying hatchers on the ground. It's just much more difficult. However, unlike that stage, you are given complete agency over how you want to complete the task. You could choose to take out all the hatchers with the Landmaster, or you could be creative and take them out with charge shots from your R-Wing. You can even use the Landmaster to handle the aerial enemies, or just do everything on your feet. There are so many different ways that you can tackle this mission, it makes replaying it a ton of fun. Certain hatchers are within tight tunnels requiring you to go on foot, but everything else is completely up to your discretion. This mission does highlight Star Fox Assault's horrible checkpoint system though. You only get a checkpoint after completing an objective in on-foot missions, which is normally fine, but this level only has the Hatcher objective. So if you die at any point, you need to do the entire mission again, which is complete bullcrap. After, saving Saria, Fox is deployed on the ground of Corneria, which has been completely taken over by Aperoids, including zombie-like Cornerian soldiers. I love this setting of Fox, the lone survivor, venturing through the city he probably grew up in a desperate effort to drive back a great enemy force. It's super cool. I guess the Cornerians aren't the only zombies, though, because Wolf and his team somehow show up as well. Did they swim through space? How did they get new ships? How did they... Never mind, whatever. After some help from Wolf in taking out an Aperoid-infected General Pepper, the team has finally repelled the enemy long enough to get ready to take the fight to their homeworld. Before they can make the trip, the team needs to defend the orbital gate while a team of scientists create a self-destruct program that can take out the Aperoids in one strike if launched into their queen. It's pretty convenient. The set piece of ships flying all over to defend this base is such cool set dressing for a level, but the actual level itself feels unfinished. The first half of the stage, you don't even have an objective outside of just defending your teammates when they do dumb shit. But you do that in every mission. The actual mission starts in the second half, which consists of you needing to destroy missiles heading for the base, which is ripped straight out of Star Fox 64, but is still fun enough. Destroying the missiles provides ample time for the self-destruct program to be completed. So our team, alongside the Cornerian army, takes the war straight to the Aperoid homeworld, where the longest mission ever made takes place. And guess what? There are no fucking checkpoints either. You need to track down 8 hatchers, all of which are hidden deep within tight linear buildings that force you to stay on your feet, making the Landmaster in an R-Wing pretty much worthless here. I'm glad this stage closes up an on-foot level and creates unique linear progression to break up all of the open progression from earlier on. But dying here is so easy to do, and it sucks so much. On this playthrough, and keep in mind I've played this game a million times, it took me over 28 minutes to complete the first objective. Yes, there's 2 objectives. And dying at any point would send me back to the beginning, god damn! Also, by the way, this battle determines the fate of the entire galaxy, so why the hell am I the only person on the actual battlefield? Does the Cornerian army not have any ground soldiers? And for that matter, after they lose 20% of their fleet, why do they retreat? This is a matter of life and death. I don't care if there's only 80% of the fleet left, and we gotta fight it to the bitter end! After beating that hellhole, Peppy uses the Great Fox to blow the entire stage I just played through up. Then why the hell did I just do all of that if we could have just blown it up? Whatever. It is cathartic seeing the level explode at the very least. He then crashes the Great Fox into a shield that was guarding our way to the interior of the planet where the Queen is hiding, and supposedly dies. Sad. We head toward the center of the planet with Starwolf tagging along behind us, but didn't the shield just close behind? Never mind, let's just get through this. All 7 pilots spend time crashing into shit, getting hit by enemies that are out of their view, and even betraying each other before Wolf and crew make a sacrificial move distracting some high-level Aperoids, allowing us to do battle with the Queen. And oh look, she's made friends with all of our dead friends. Isn't that fun? This is such a cool final fight with super cool visuals. Queen tries to use the power of anti-friendship to defeat our heroes, but Fox, alongside his 3 only friends who aren't dead at this point, use the true power of limited friendship, and eventually kills the Queen, taking out the Aperoids once and for all. It's a bittersweet ending for the team, though, because of everyone and everything that was lost along the way. Until the game pulls up bullshit and says that basically no one actually died. What the fuck? Fox even infers that he knew Peppy never died, which, like, why the fuck did he keep that a secret from his team? How did that benefit the mission by destroying the emotions of your team before battling the final threat? Look at Slippy, bro! He's crying! I'm kinda not a huge fan of the ending. I think it's wrapped up far too quickly and nullifies too many perceived consequences. The credits do show and tell all of the damage that the Aperoids have caused around the Lilat system, though, and even include the plans that the galaxy has for rebuilding everything, which I actually think is pretty cool. So why did I just go over the entire game beginning to end? Well, to show and to prove how much variety in gameplay and set pieces the devs were able to craft with all the brand new mechanics in this game. And to also give me proper motivation to stage a mission to find this game should I ever lose it. It's not like that'll ever happen, though. Speaking of which, where is my copy? A campaign of this caliber and variety would have never been possible if Fox was simply stuck in the R-Wing the whole game. The R-Wing missions are still overall the highlight, but the on-foot stuff complements it super well, and I feel like the potential of this formula has only barely been touched upon and deserves to make a comeback. Imagine on-foot stages that involve Fox traveling through linear levels in the first half that lead into on-rails R-Wing or even Landmaster segments in the second half, and vice versa. On ground missions where your allies actually follow and support you, where they all could have their own unique special abilities, like Slippy can use his technical genius to like open doors and stuff, Crystal can sense enemies that are up ahead, and Falco can still be an ass. The main issue with the third-person gameplay is the controls, which, like I stated earlier, you can get used to after time, but do feel dated. If this game were to ever get a sequel, I think improving on and modernizing the on-foot controls should be #1 priority. I still don't understand why fans insist that Star Fox games can only be made up of R-Wing gameplay to be good, when this game proves that notion is so wrong. This is the best Star Fox, and if the series ever comes back, I can only hope it'll more closely resemble this game than what Zero ended up doing. I still like that game for the record. Before signing off, I'm also going to briefly mention the multiplayer, which is also super fun. There's a ton to do with so many options for weapons, modes, which vehicles to use. I've gotten more than a few people who have never played a Star Fox game to spend hours on the multiplayer with me, and it's always a great time.
Okay, I've been looking around, I can't find my copy. This package as a whole is a completely wonderful experience that should be played by any Nintendo fan. Bandai Namco is apparently working on a remake of a first-party published Nintendo game of an old action game of some form, and well, it's probably gonna be Kid Icarus Uprising. I can only hope it's this game, because I can't find my copy anywhere. It's gone. I'm gonna have to make some calls. I'll see you guys on the other side. Do you guys see why we're out here now? Wait, do we make it back to Earth?
You're dead meat, pal.
What? Why? Oh, look, it's the moon. That's nice. Wait, what is that? Oh, fuck. Evasive maneuvers, everyone! Oh no! I've been hit! I'm gonna crash!
Oh no!
The barrel roll, press V.
Shut up, Peppy! Mayday, 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 mayday! Mayday, mayday, mayday! That's what I get for not playing a Sonic game, I guess. And I guess that's why our tracker took us back to Earth. It was never missing. Great. Well, folks, I'll see you next time.